The reality of the matter is the story was completely the story was completely propagandized from the start, and it featured no real information. And yet, for some reason, when I brought that up, everybody fucking yelled at me, and everybody did victory laps about it, saying, "Oh, Hasan is like defending Somali fraud or some shit." No, I'm defending investigative reporting. I'm not defending fraud at all, and I'm actually frustrated at the fact that sloppy hit jobs such as this one unironically interfere with good investigation, okay? With real investigations into real fraud.
Nick Shirley's reporting in Minnesota. Hasan and him have been going back and forth on Twitter. A matchup of the ages to end 2025. Hasan tweeted yesterday at 11 a.m. I don't know what kind of fraud Somalis in daycares are doing, but I think it's a separate crime to try and storm with a camera into a daycare with kids in it. Shirley responded by saying, "Ha ha, you would say something stupid like this." Nick won the ratio off here by almost an order of 5-1.
Oh, dude, I can't believe on the Hitler website he got way more likes. I guess that means I was wrong. Shit, dude, my bad.
Hasan then quote tweeted himself saying, "Bleak future of all media" with this photo. I think that's from a movie. That's Jake Gyllenhaal, I believe. Vigilante content that can be weaponized for radicalized / white nativist agitprop. I don't know. I'm sorry if I said that word wrong, agitprop. Everyone's going to behave like the fake pedo hunters. On top of responding to Hasan's original tweet, Nick quote tweeted him saying, "People like this commie literally shock their dogs and complain about America 24/7. And when someone actually leaves their room to do something, wait for it, they then defend the criminals." Hasan responded by saying, "I traveled around the world and went to numerous protests, but since I wasn't trying to storm childcare facilities with a camera crew screaming, 'Show me the children now,' it doesn't count. There's a proper way to conduct a thorough investigation, and you botched it for clickbait." Hasan also quote tweeted a tweet involving Nick Shirley when he met with the mayor of Gaza. There was, of course, going to be criticism of Nick Shirley's video that he posted on Friday night. The main criticism is that he was trying to storm into a daycare, which is fine, but the video is 42 minutes long. It's not just the daycare.
Yeah, the other side, the second half of the video is even dumber. The second half of the video is even dumber than this, because the second half of the video, he goes to a healthcare plaza, a medical plaza, which is a normal concept that exists in America. It's in basically every fucking town. A medical plaza is the plaza that I go to when, you know, because my dentist is in a fucking medical plaza, right? If you've ever gotten tests done, you've probably gone to a medical plaza at some point. It's not a hospital. Not every healthcare facility is literally a fucking hospital.
Wager that I don't think Hasan has watched it in full. Same with a lot of the people that have been criticizing it.
I did watch it, as a matter of fact.
Other criticism has been that it was filmed over Christmas break, which Somalians are typically Muslim, not.
That's not one of my criticisms at all. And it wasn't filmed over Christmas break. It was during the holidays, and it doesn't even matter. This is not a kindergarten. It's a childcare facility.
Catholic or Christian, so they may not be taking Christmas break, but let's say it was a state mandated thing. We can see in the video that Nick was there during
Oh, he asked one random guy. I guess that's it then. This is good. He asked a random guy on the street whether he's seen children there or not. Again, my criticism from the start, top to bottom, has been that this is not real journalism. This is not real reporting. And it's very frustrating that a lot of people looked at this and got fucking duped and thought, well, I'm convinced. We're fucked.
3rd,
okay?
Which would be 2 days before Christmas, or Tuesday, December 16th. You can look up historical weather. Tuesday, December 23rd, it did not get above 32 degrees. But on Tuesday, December 16th, you can see it got just above 40 degrees during the afternoon, around 42. So we can assume this was December 16th, 9 days before Christmas. This will continue on, I'm sure. Now, Nick should be careful, just like Hasan has to be. Not because Hasan is going to injure Nick, more so because of the fact that there's a lot of crazies out there. And
yeah, no, I know. This is tough to fucking, say the truth. You know, you get killed out there for that kind of thing, obviously. Absolute crushing pathos here as James O'Keefe tries to get it on with weapons grade lameness. If I'm James O'Keefe, I'm so pissed. If I am James fucking motherfucking Keefe, I'm so mad because for years and years he did this, but he actually put a lot of fucking thought and effort into making better propaganda at least. And this guy unironically comes in and doesn't even try to like find a source, get them drunk in a bar with a fucking hidden camera and ask them questions and then deceptively edit the footage. He didn't do none of that shit. No hidden cameras, no fucking op, no inside guy, nothing. James O'Keefe was doing this and had standardized the Project Veritas concept for years and years, only for a much dumber version of that to come in and totally sweep away the market. This is even worse than Tyler Oliveira's commentary on shit. That's how bad it is. Tyler Oliveira will go and he'll also work with like a right-wing local dipshit, right? But even Tyler Oliveira works to make a more convincing right-wing slop. And it turns out the dumber your fucking argument is, the more people believe it. It turns out the dumber the argument is, the more effective it is. I cannot believe it. If we're ranking different versions of right-wing propaganda, okay? Here, I'll pull up Paint for this one, okay? If we're doing right-wing slopaganda, okay? You got up here, you have like Fox News digital team, right? Like they have the most Fox News D. They have more interest in like making it seem like they're a reliable news outlet, making it seem as though they have an interest in at least accurate reporting, even though it is heavily biased. Okay, it's biased, but it at the very least, regardless of being biased, we'll still have like real evidence. Okay, bias but real evidence. They'll omit certain things, but they'll at least have like real evidence in it. Then a step below that is Project Veritas with James O'Keefe. They have done a bunch of work. You guys have seen around the Epstein stuff. Project Veritas is one step below. Incredibly biased. Doesn't have real evidence in it. They will obviously chop things deceptively. They'll edit things deceptively. They'll liquor up people, but at least it has sources, right? So they'll find people who they claim are sources, insiders, right? They have sources. They have people who work inside the facility that they will go and ask questions to, right? They'll greatly overextend the influence and power that a source holds. Like they'll go to a fucking secretary of like the assistant of the assistant to the deputy of whatever the fuck, and they'll make it seem like that person is actually, the most in the know person of all time. Then they'll also get him to talk shit. Then they'll cut stuff out of context, and they'll make it seem like they're, they'll get their message across that way. Okay. Now, that is obviously more popular than Fox News, right? So the more, if this is the credibility, if this is the credibility axis, okay, this is the more credible versus less credible, right? The less credible it gets, the less credible the news source gets, the more popular it gets. So we don't even need to do an XY. Okay? There's no reason to do an even XY here because the reality is the more credible something gets, the less popular it gets. The less credible something gets, the less work and effort is put into it. Okay? The less credible something gets, the less work and effort is put into it, the more popular it gets. Okay? Effort, less effort. I can't even fucking write. I don't even know why I chose to do this with paint, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay. Can you just make, oh, there it is. Okay. I'll use a bigger brush here. Okay. And then last but not least, less popular, more popular. Okay. There's a textbook option. I don't care. Shut up. Now we move down from Project Veritas to Tyler Oliveira. Okay. Now we get to a part of the internet where you can at least like seem like you're apolitical, even though you're a right-wing slop merchant, right? You're a right-wing propagandist, you're a slop merchant, but you at the very least can present yourself as apolitical. And not only can you present yourself as apolitical, but you also have less interest in getting sources. You have less interest in like cutting deceptive editing. You can do deceptive editing. Now you have also more flair and more drama. More drama, getting into a fight with like a homeless person or some shit like that, and more flair. At the bottom of this barrel is Nick Shirley, okay? At the bottom of this pile is Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley literally has all of the worst elements of Tyler Oliveira. He has none of the effort that he puts in, okay? None of the effort whatsoever. Barely any fucking sources, just running around with a camera and demanding to see children, something that is objectively supposed to be, an illegal act, just harassing random daycare facilities, shit like that, okay? Unfortunately, as we have seen time and time again, and specifically this year, I think this story in and of itself perfectly proves this. The less credible you are and the less effort that you put into your right-wing slop merchantry, the more popular your video gets and the more it drives discourse. And then what people will do, and this is another dumb guy thing that I have noticed, the more popular it is, the more legitimate it is. A lot of stupid people will mistake popularity for veracity, okay? People genuinely have this attitude where I've seen it over and over again. They're like, oh, well, this video got 1 million views. This video got 100 million views. How many views have you gotten in your videos? It's like, yeah, okay. ProPublica is one of the last remaining incredible outlets for investigative reporting. Just because they don't drive clicks doesn't mean that they're not doing valid fucking work. It is ridiculous. Okay? It is fucking ridiculous. Right-wing slop merchants. The more outrage you bake in, the more fucking, the less interest you have in finding evidence, even if that evidence was supposed to help your argument, okay? And the more eyeballs you get, the more people go, well, this guy's obviously right. And the reason why we have this dynamic, unfortunately, is because we're getting dumber and dumber every single fucking day, okay? Jack Smith, full video out. What's Jack Smith? The work is only valid if you sell ads. It's not even about selling ads. It's about how many fucking eyeballs you get. And it doesn't even matter if you bought it, okay? You can bot the fuck out of your eyeballs, but from the outsider's perspective, the more eyeballs something has, the more real it is, the more true it is, okay? Whoever yells loudest, whoever is first to market, and whoever yells loudest is winning, is going to get the biggest amount of attention, and therefore they are going to be the most correct. This is what happens when there is no consensus reality, okay? Unfortunately, when there's no consensus reality, everything falls apart. And that's where we're at. This is the meta. This is the unfortunate reality of the media landscape that we exist in. And myself and many others, I have to, talk to a bunch of other people on the left. We have to try to figure out a new way to reach out to a broad audience, because I think trying to actively disparage whatever kind of new idiocy is coming from the right is clearly not going to work. We're fucking cooked. And this is before we even, wait, what? Special counsel full testimony for Jack Smith. Brother, I cannot begin to explain to you how little I care about this right now. Oh my God. The reason why I'm talking about this is not because of this specific instance, okay? The reason why I'm talking about this story in general is because you will see this dynamic play itself out over and over again, especially leading up to the midterms. Anytime Donald Trump is underwater on a certain issue, anytime people start going, hey, what about that affordability you were promising us that didn't fucking work? He's going to throw another grenade similar to this one. And then the right-wing slop merchants will storm whichever area of interest exists, like a bunch of fucking piranhas, and the story will be whatever the fuck they want you to pay attention to. Okay, this is it. Yeah, lowest tier slopaganda gets the goods. It has the most effective results. The Trump admin cutting off all childcare funding during cost of living crisis because the January 6th insurrectionist cameraman made a completely fake, debunked YouTube video of himself going to daycares outside of their business hours. And there are still people going, when was it debunked and by whom? Got receipts. Over and over and over again. And that's what's so crazy about it, because unfortunately, this kind of dumb propaganda does work on a lot of people. Okay? That's what it is. And that's where we're at. How do you combat it? It seems practically impossible. The confirmation bias of the average American seems to be that black and brown people are evil. No, I don't even think that this is just because there's like, black and brown people. That plays a role in it for sure. White supremacy plays a major role in it. Absolutely. Okay. It's much easier to craft a narrative such as this one against like a minority group for sure. It's a big factor. Because if this was a bunch of like white liberals in a blue city or something, that would still bang. Like that video would still do numbers, especially if it ties back to a real instance of fraud. Okay? This has many different factors at play. There were so many different convergence of factors here that made this story as explosive as it is. And it's not just like Elon Musk base boosting this shit on the platform Twitter and then making it virtually impossible not to discuss this and driving discourse for the last couple of days. Okay? That is one factor, however. But there are multiple reasons as to why this was so explosive. But if you think that those with genuine power in this administration are not taking notice of this, you are delusional. This is going to happen over and over again. I don't know what the next thing will be. Okay? I don't know what the next thing will be, but it's coming. Going forward, you'll see it a lot more frequently. Whenever there's something going on that looks bad for Donald Trump, they will foment hatred towards one group and they will storm it. Like they'll send their fucking nuisance streamers and all these other fucking freaks and losers to do bottom of the barrel slopaganda, and a lot of people are so primed to believe that shit that they will be endlessly distracted by this stuff. People who are talking about the Epstein files not only a day prior to this have now locked in and laser focused on this and are talking about how all Somalis are running fraudulent daycares all around the country. This is a mass epidemic. They all, boom, inserted the new chip. Yeah, here's a flashback from the background of Nick Shirley and other nuisance streamers such as this one. Per Reuters, Nick Shirley, the guy behind the Minnesota Daycare fraud video, once paid Hispanic day laborers he recruited at Home Depot $20 to hold pro-Biden signs in front of the White House to gin up fears of an invasion, right? Half a dozen Hispanic day laborers were paid $20 each to parade in front of the White House on camera holding signs with slogans like, I love Biden. I need a work permit for my family. The stunt was orchestrated by Nick Shirley, a pro-Trump online influencer who often asks migrants on camera if they support the Democratic President Joe Biden or think he made it easier for them to come to the U.S. We want to take you to the White House, Shirley told men he recruited at a Home Depot parking lot where day laborers typically wait for jobs. In a video later posted to YouTube, what Biden did for migrants is very kind, right? Letting everyone come in. So we are going to show him and say thank you. Shirley, a 22-year-old with more than 318,000 followers on social media, is among the new class of influencers supportive of the Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, who are helping shape the immigration debate as the U.S. election campaign heats up. This guy is a Mormon whose mom drives him around still to this fucking day. Okay. Was at January 6th, and he's been at the scene of every single right-wing cultural touch point, making slopaganda like this, and now one of them hit big. Okay? It's going to happen. It's going to happen over and over again. You guys think this shit is irrelevant. It pisses you off that people are stupid. It pisses you off that someone who is genuinely mentally inept is capable of having this much reach and is capable of getting the government to basically use this dog shit reporting and manufactured hysteria to cut funds to all child care facilities in every fucking state. Someone who is fucking illiterate is capable of doing that. Yeah, I get that it fucking offends you. It offends your sensibilities. You find yourself to be much smarter than this, but it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, if slop is king, we have to fucking do it. We have to cover it. This is going to hurt MAGA folks too because they need to have their kids watched and they're poor. I know. But this is how it's always worked historically. Historically, in the United States of America, white Republicans have always gotten on board with cutting welfare initiatives and cutting social safety nets that they rely on because they think black people are stealing it. That's where the welfare queen strategy comes from. They're gutting entitlements programs. They're gutting welfare because, and you know, people who rely on this stuff, disability and the like, are championing the gutting of welfare because in their minds, they're perceiving people who are not worthy, people who are not deserving of this social safety nets, taking advantage of it, okay? Or even engaging in fraud. You cannot think you're above this. You cannot just simply say these guys are stupid and fucking move on, okay? You cannot just say, oh, I don't want to touch this. This is too dumb. You have to pull people out of this stupor, okay? You have to, or else we're fucked. It took, in this media environment where things move rapidly, things go viral instantly, mainstream reporters move far too slow, okay? And especially when there's not a lot of interest in stories like this because they're like, who gives a fuck about this shit, man? I don't understand. Why are you even covering this? If that's your attitude, you're going to lose. If that's your attitude, you're going to let the dummies dominate discourse, dominate the narrative, okay? Donald Trump is president for a reason. We have to fight back.